Hi guys and welcome back to another Dragonheir Silence God video. Today we have a guest, the one and only Scratch, the rock star of the gaming industry. Here's
Oh
my
yeah.
brother. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, doing great, man. Doing great. Looking forward to finally collab with you on your channel as well. So yeah, this
Yeah,
will
we
be a good
just
one.
yeah, hopefully it's gonna be a great one. We just finished recording a collaboration on this channel where we talk about what are the crippling mistakes that you can make early on in your accounts and ruin your season progression, basically. So definitely go have a look at that video when you finish watching this one, or if you haven't already seen it. And today in this video, instead, we're going to talk about a little bit of the Chief Challenge and the Otherworld exploration progression, because we are only 2 days away, basically, from the Otherworld exploration opening. 2 days and a half, really. Um, and when that is going to open, everything's going to change. The game's going to start pick up speed. We're going to be on it every day, fighting those bosses on rotation. And so we need to be prepared. So today we're going to talk a little bit on how we should prepare properly and what we've done so far.
A
How's it
hundred.
been, first of all, how has it been for you, the Chief Challenge so far?
So far so good. I managed to get quite a decent amount of damage on pretty much all of them. I still have one that I haven't done yet. I left the Losenia for
Oh,
the last, and I've been so busy for the last few days. I still didn't have a chance to actually go in and build up a team for it.
yeah,
But I'm
that's tough, right?
I'm hoping to do it tomorrow. Yeah, I've only literally done two tests on the test server, and that was just to see if I'm gonna use Vicana or I'm gonna use Jatalia instead.
Yeah,
So I haven't really checked what
yeah.
sort of damage can I get. What I did notice is that it's hard to keep the team alive. It's hard to keep the
Oh,
tank alive,
it's damn
and
hard.
I think I might need to bring three support champions or something to make that happen. By the looks of it, if I want to survive the full 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that video when you could do it, because I'm not getting anywhere with this boss. I've tried so many different things, but I can't really make
Mm.
any progression. So I would say we jumped into my comp. I show you my score so far, and
Yeah,
we talk about what I've done to progress on this challenge so far, and what are my strategy for the other words. And we see maybe comparison with some of your champions, and we have a look at what other thing we could probably do. So let's start from the easiest one. I have to scroll it up a little bit like this. It's probably going to be Izila's, I guess. Izila's is by far, for anyone, the more approachable one.
I think so
Um,
too. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people has been running similar comp as mine, maybe with different DPS instead of Foley. You can use the rare one. But yeah,
How
so I've been
how is
trying.
Foley performing there?
She's doing well. She's doing really well, actually. She's doing half the damage of Erich.
Mm.
But for me, she's probably one of the best one, because she hits one target. She doesn't spread too much target around. She's not an AoE hitting the side, the summoning. Because if you hit summoning, you don't do any damage, basically. So what I had to
Mm.
do with Erich as well is to target just the boss. So to move the square box where Erich hit,
Oh, okay.
just to hit the boss.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, I was not able with this comp here with Horus to get to 22 million.
That's why I
And
was wondering because I know Foley she has repeats the attack two more times if she hits
yeah,
the same target, right? So
yeah,
with the summons, I was a bit curious, like how well she will actually get the job done.
she actually do well. For me, the main difficulty here has been trying to keep Horus alive.
Mm,
Um,
true.
I did the week before, to be honest, I did with Quisitia. I did 28, 29 million on this boss. And then I said, oh, look, let me try to put Horus here so I can move Quisitia to the Necrosis team. And then we have a look at
Hmm.
the Necrosis team. It didn't went well. But yeah, keeping Horus alive is very difficult. For me, the key has been to get him the Platinum 9 shield,
Yeah,
because it's
the
an
AOE.
AoE hit. I was trying with the mask, I was trying with the Scarab amulet, but I was not getting anywhere. And I think that if I try again this team with Quisitia back and I put on her the Platinum shield, I might be able to break quite easily the 30 million. And that probably is going to be for me the tactic for this boss going forward.
Yeah, I think
What
I think so. Yeah, the
what are you
decreased
using
speed
on this?
penalty. I'm using what's the name of the epic from the pillar? Kairza, right?
Oh, yeah, see,
Kairza,
Kirza,
yeah.
Kirza, Kirza.
Kirza. Okay. So I'm using I'm using her. I'm using Casper. I'm using Erich. I'm using.
I use it Jorn.
No, I don't have Jorn.
Okay,
I have Huldork. So I'm using Huldork
older.
with no scrolls. But I have a cheat code in there though because I'm using Thorin to protect my tank. You know.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
So that's why I have that epic there because she has no healing, right? But
Yeah,
she
yeah.
brings decreased attack, triple hitter, so she's great for the defense down artifact. And
Yeah.
then she has the recharge speed penalty too. And when I see you're using Dane for the same reason why I'm using
Yeah.
Huldork, right? To remove that increased attack from the boss, put more decreased attack. So that's what I'm doing with Huldork. And I am manipulating a bit of ultimate energy with him too. But you know how it goes on these bosses. It's not like extremely powerful on there, you know.
Yeah. That's why Quisitia is so good for this boss because
Yeah,
she has recharge speed penalty on a passive, so every time she get hit, she has a chance to place it. She
yeah.
pushed back the ultimate energy. She placed the decrease attack on a triple hit. She healed herself. You can put the crown on clean if you have enough. Maybe late, when we have all those buff from the alliance. Maybe you can run it with the crown on clean. So yeah, that would be great. I think Jordan will be really good over here. Whoever has it, I think it will be an amazing champion because he has
Yeah,
it pushed back the turn to take off the attack. It put decrease attack on him. It does damage, so he will be great for this fight, I think.
yeah, he's very solid that hero. Yeah, definitely a very strong fire hero.
Yeah, over here will be great. So moving on the second one, for me, the second easiest one will be Tower.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
think
he's
Tower is quite approachable as long as you can build your tank.
yeah.
Have you been
So
using similar comp as mine? So for
uh,
context, I'm using Furbat as a tank on the front. It's built with high resistance, high accuracy to place the decrease attack, resist the any debuff that tower plays. And then I'm using Nathaniel to shield him, give him increased defense, 2 Dauntless range damage dealer, and an additional decrease attack, which is Irina in my case, because I don't have Iola or Viola, whatever pronunciation is.
Lolita.
Yeah, Lolita, exactly. Because I can alternate the decrease attack and have decrease attack basically throughout the entire fight. I'm
Yeah,
quite lucky to have Ivelios, which does crazy amount of damage over here. But I know you can use also the Thunderbolt over here, champions, I think, to do quite decent amount of damage.
decent. So initially, I started with a very similar team. I don't have Ivelios, of course, so I used a rare Dauntless hero, but
Mm.
that took me
Vanny.
over. Yeah, that took me over 22 million damage. So the strategy that I had was the third Bart position in the right thing, so the mushroom cannot control nobody else but third Bart.
Yeah.
You know, so I gave him resistance, and that's how I managed to do it. I had a healing from Nathaniel as well, the shield to keep him alive. So it worked. It worked pretty good, but in the end because I'm trying to push as high as possible in the ranking, you know. So recently I got lucky enough to summon Perkunte. I had
Right.
the other two Thunderbolt heroes, so I decided to use NASA with a lot of skill haste because I don't have her scrolled and Perkunte in the team, and I had Malak instead of Frorbart. So I
Yeah.
wanted to use Malak against this boss because I needed Frorbart for Losenia because of the healing, AoE healing, so I can keep multiple champions alive with him, you know. And like that, I managed to. I think I've dealt 36 million damage if I'm not mistaken. But of course, Perkunte does hit pretty damn hard, and I
Yeah.
only managed to get him to like 10 stacks without having Nisa scrolled, you know. So it's still a lot of room for improvement there.
Yeah. I have Nissa as well. I have her not scroll and I have Perkunte, but I don't have the exclusive artifact.
I
So
don't
I
have
got
that either. Yeah, I've done it
okay.
with the eyeball of the giant. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
it's hard.
hits
Yeah,
for like 700-800k per ultimate. You know, so it's not bad.
that sounds good. I could try do something similar because I have Ergander, so I could probably
Mm.
bring Ergander over here, and then use the Thunderbolt and use Furbat on Losenia as well to try to keep everybody alive. But I'm really thinking maybe mostly to sub Exandra in for Nathaniel if I can make it work. So I can
I
use
think it's gonna be
Nathaniel.
hard. Yeah,
I
on
can
the other
use
one.
I can use Nathaniel cleanse on Losenia because those frost debuff are killing me. It's like
Are a pain, huh?
Yeah, those are really, really a pain. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, it
so
is.
this is actually achievable even with Vani. So it's I think those two teams that we just seen are pretty affordable even with lower composition. Erich is the legendary we all have. So if we consider these two bosses, basically you can do it without any legendary that is not guaranteed. So that's pretty
And
great. And
and you
similar
don't
for
need
me,
legendary artifacts either. You
I
know,
don't
like
have them, so I never been that lucky to pull a doof in this game. I never believe I could say something like that
I
after play.
summoned so many this season. Like I started to hate it because all I'm getting is dupes and it's disappointing. You know.
All right. Well, you want to get new champion to play, but also those legendary artifacts are really making the difference. So yeah, you kind of want a balance, I guess.
Mm,
And
100%. Yeah.
the third boss up, it's Alton for me, which is probably the first one that I've really cracked. But I think probably everybody cracked it because Ice Blast is
Yeah.
so good that you can run it pretty easily. And as you can see, I don't have any legendary over there, so you can still do a good damage. I did way higher with Garius instead of Quarion. I did over 30 million, but I was trying
Yeah.
to use Garius on Jorn, and that didn't work out very well neither. So maybe I go back to get Garius over here and Quarion over there because I'm using a different tactic over there. We're gonna see in a minute. But
Mm.
basically here you just I just push back the turn meter with Clovis, keep it on a 19-second rotation. I can get then Voresh to keep the block buff up. I need a healer to keep everybody top up, and then the two Ice Blasts are doing most of the damage.
Yeah. Like I feel like honestly, that might be the easy for whoever has Ice Blast. I feel like it might be the easiest boss, just because the damage that you're getting from him is not that crazy compared to the rest. Like if you're thinking about the summoner, right, the Necrosis boss, uh,
Yeah,
he just deals so much damage sometimes. Like when he's using that AOE is just crazy. But with Alton, I feel like even though he is hitting hard, just spreading that damage around is a bit random, so you might have to do a few
yeah.
retries. But it feels a bit better, you know.
That's the thing. Alton you can have a run like 15 million, and then the run after is 30 million because
Exactly.
it start hitting your key champions 2 or 3 times in a row, and it just blast them off completely, wipe the floor with them, and then you have to press repeat because there's nothing you can do really. Instead
Yep.
with Irzilas, for me, I feel like if you build right, you can have a more reliable run. Like the difference between a bad run and a good one is minimal, but with Alton, it's just complete RNG. So the next two, I will talk about. Well, I would like to talk about Jorn first, I guess, for the next
Yeah.
three. Which is I saw a video you did recently where you said you it
I
was
give
a
up.
yeah, you give up, right? You've been trying to do a free to play comp on that boss and you just decided that is not possible. Talk to me about
Apparently,
your experience there.
yeah. So I just tried, man, like all sorts of different combinations. I didn't try the Hedgeo because I was sure that he's going to get messed up, being a melee hero. But apparently, it's a bug. I do see it as a bug because that's completely changing what the boss does. So when
Mm,
Hedgeo jumps, somehow it's creating a bug where the boss doesn't actually damages him and he stays alive. So it's some weird stuff, you know. But
no,
there is a way you could potentially cut it off. So I am looking to revisit all these bosses again once the Otherworld event is open to do a few different guides because there are a few different things that maybe I overlooked before on a couple of them. So I kind of like wanna give a few different options, you know.
okay. Well, yeah, I've heard that you can jump with him and you can move in a corner as well with Hedgehog.
Yeah, something
If you
like that.
keep
Yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty weird. Yeah.
yeah, if you keep jumping on him, you can move it. Gulal move it as well, but it's not you can't really control it that much because the
Mm.
vulture take the place of the boss when the boss jump, and
Yeah.
so you can move it around with the vulture.
Mm.
I'm using Gulal and I'm finding decent success. I mean, you can see 17 million is not like 22, but I'm getting there.
Mm.
Um, because Gulal summon the vulture, you can if you give him like a lot of skill haste, you can summon the vulture it on a 16 point something rotation because the boss keeps bumping his turn meter, so you have to go very very fast. But basically what it does, it hits only your tank and the vulture on the front, so it doesn't
Mm.
hit anybody else. So what I'm trying to do next is to take out Garius from here and put Quarian to give an additional increased defense and heal to Ardrit.
Yeah.
And then going with Galal getting to hit only Hardrit and bring the 2 Raleigh to do damage basically. And that should give me a little bit of edge over what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it might allow you to get to 22 million once the Otherworld event is open.
Are
It
you
should.
I use a similar setup. So on Drawn you get full blast and legendary on this one.
Yeah, I want completely free to play there. Yeah.
Yeah, completely free to play. So but yeah, so the setup is pretty similar. You have a decreased attack, and then you're able to bring 3 rally champions because obviously Rose is doing 2 roles in here.
Yeah.
Decreased
So
attack and a little bit of healing, slowing down the boss.
yeah, and the boss only gets to hit Ardret and Rose. So if I remember correctly, I think I survived the full 5 minutes.
All right. Well, 50 minion is a lot, and yeah, Huberg is really a good damage dealer here.
Yeah, it's crazy good. Yeah.
Yeah, I found that Welby is much better than Tatlin, to be honest. I've tried the same comp. I level Tatlin and I've used them, and it doesn't do as much damage as Welby. Welby is much closer to Huberg that Tatlin will ever be.
Yeah, like if you want just damage, yeah. The reason why I like Tattling, I like him as an activator. So he's
Yeah.
not really going to deal as much damage, unfortunately. It's just the ultimate energy and having a more reliable source to get rally.
Yeah.
Definitely the rare champion is much better, yeah. In
There's
terms of
also
damage.
Tatlin it's a bit better if you use it with the double function of placing the defense penalty
Yeah,
because it has a
exactly.
triple hit ultimate, but really that's the only case where I can see it
Yeah.
usable of Welby. And it's funny because again, a lot of people say, "Oh, you need legendary to do something," and when you can use rares and they do really good damage too.
Yeah, there are some that are really, really spectacular to say it like this because they're really good at what they're doing. So it's impressive, yeah.
All right. So next boss up will be Shinacton. I guess that's the pronunciation.
I guess
And
so.
and there it's quite difficult as well. You got some good legendary as well over there, but I guess that Berengar has sort of a cheat code for this one.
Yeah, he actually managed to tank pretty well. And for me, the main thing that I had in there was to actually how to dodge the boss. But there is actually a much better option if you put a range tank instead. So I completely forgot about it. I overlooked it a bit. That's another thing that I kind of like want to cover in a future video for this boss. But last season, I've done something similar for different bosses. Where I had range tanks and the boss kind of like moved the position.
Yeah, with
This,
Catherine and Quarion, right?
yeah,
Was something similar.
and this time around, I completely uh, didn't thought about it. I just completely skipped that idea. But if you put Megan, for example, a range healer
Yeah.
as a tank, Shai is actually going to move and use the ultimate only on her on that direction. So the rest of the heroes, wherever you're placing them, they won't be getting hit anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm working as well. I'm trying to get Megan build up, so I'm gonna use her instead of the tank over here to get the boss
Mm.
moving on the side, and then the rest probably will do the damage. I've tried to use Sharlock. He is not scroll, but I can't get any damage, any serious
It's
damage.
hard with him, and like he was, I think he was my first legendary, if I remember it correctly. And I try using him a lot, but it's just summoners are just not performing as well
Yeah,
unless they're not summoning. So one champion that I prefer over him is, for example, Joyce, the epic champion.
yeah.
He actually brings in a lot of damage, and he's with his summons.
I have him, but I don't have scrolls. Like I'm
Mm.
completely dry on epic scrolls
I
at this
feel you. I
point.
feel you. I am the same with epic and legendary scrolls. I'm completely dry. I have plenty of rares though.
Yeah, yeah, those rares. I mean, I can probably scroll everybody with the rares, but nah. It would be nice if there was a way to maybe use, 5 rare scrolls to get one epic one at some point.
It would be nice, even if it's limited, per
Yeah,
season.
exactly. But yeah, I can't get anything out of this comp, so I have to get back to the board and probably, as I said, bring in Megan and Questa and run that comp. I think Ivy shot a video, Gorax made a video about it. There are a good result with that comp. So It's a shame because, as I said, I pushed so much to try to get Questa in this comp, but I can't get it work. I've tried also Questa and Ripicus because I
Yeah.
have also have Ripicus, and it was in my mind was like, oh, I can keep pushing back turn meter back and forward, but nevertheless, it hits too hard. Those electrocutes random hits are devastating on the
Mm,
range champion if you don't manage to trick his AI probably, as you said.
yeah.
And the last one is lasagna that you haven't done it yet, just so I can show you my disaster over here, so, so you know what to expect from Jantalia Unscroll, which is pretty much nothing. Like
Uh, have you tried to replace Hollis with Theodore?
no,
If you
I
have,
haven't tried that. I haven't tried
and to
that for the
replace
same reason we said before, because I don't have scroll.
Eli with Lorari. Ah,
Uh,
he's a melee. He's a melee. He's not gonna work that good actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
there is a rare that has turn meter control on the ultimate, which can help control slightly. Keep the ultimate energy more so under control. But I feel like I can't get anywhere with this boss. I did the same score of this one with a Dauntless melee team. I
On
went
the same boss, huh?
on the same boss. I went in with I think it was Urgander, Exandra, Garrett, Suta, and Shalter. Lasted pretty much nothing and made 7 million. So, so I
It's
might,
just the damage, bro. Like it's pretty hard with the poisoners. Like I'll be honest, I'm really not a fan of poisoners as they are in the game
nah.
at the moment. I managed to summon this season I think three legendaries from there. I got Jetalia, I got Durango.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think two actually, not three. And I'm just not that impressed with the damage. It's just so hard to build them. They're so needy in terms of stats. You want them to do damage, and I hope they're really going to bring a new damage architecture for Poison X season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's coming next season for sure. I mean, Necrosis and Poison are the one that only have one, so there's gonna be
Mm,
something for sure coming there. I hope there's not something gimmicky like Burn, which is basically not really usable
mm,
because unless the enemies are all grouped together, it doesn't do much really.
yeah.
It's a bit of a shame. But anyway, these are the comps for the Chef Challenge. And now in 2 days, we're going to move on to the Otherworld Exploration. On the Otherworld Exploration, we're not limited anymore to 6 comp. So we're going to have to start breaking them down and try to think at more comp for the same boss and try to make more damage with, if you can get 22 million with 2 comps on the same boss, that's a good usage of your energy. You don't have to run the elemental affinity, what's called the elemental domains as
Yeah.
much, and so you can build more score and get better positioning on the leaderboard. What do you think are the bosses where you can build more than one comp easily, and maybe if you have, a substitution idea that we can look into it, and like for example, the Isilas for fires. Can we get 2 comps running? Do you
I
have any
think
idea about that?
I think you can if you're running two tanks. The problem will be the support for fire because you're gonna have to take support from the necrosis to bring it to the fire because it's lacking, and I think it's gonna be a bit of a challenge. But I am aiming to build two teams for each one of them. I probably know that I'll struggle with the poison to build two of them, and I really want to do top 50 just to get the legendary scrolls this season. Last season, I forgot to send a message to the clanmates and be like, guys, show me the champion pool that you have in the legendary scrolls. So I didn't have a chance to see if all the champions are available or no. So I'm super curious now to get them and see it for myself. So I really want to push for top 50. But I think I can definitely double down on Radiance. I can bring Hedgeo, I can bring Welby, I can play a few different characters in there that will allow me to reach 22 million. Now, the good part is that once we're going to get to the Otherworld event, hopefully not all of the stats for the boss is increased. And the extra stats that we get from the Alliance will actually benefit us and allow us to build multiple teams. Because I know the accuracy requirement increased, right? So I hope the bosses won't hit harder or anything like that just because we are getting Alliance bonus stats. And I feel like for the fire, for the fire team, I might attempt to go with a wild team and to go with the burn team. Now with the
Okay.
burn, it's going to be a bit harder to keep the hero alive. But I think I'm just going to tank Arasis more than build him for damage, and just put a lot of burn stacks and let him detonate them.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's like for fire. I think it probably to go something similar. So if I move Quisitia back to my main team, I have Horus for my second one. The difficult role to cover for me it's Adolphus because there's no really healing. Like even the crosses doesn't have much healing if you exclude
Nope.
Megan. Like there's a Stella, she can do something, but she's not that top range. Like it's much easier to replace Dane because we have Liko, and Liko does the block buff, and she
Yeah.
does healing on the battle skills, so she can help Horus stay alive. So she's not bad for that. You still, there is a rare wild does good damage too. I don't remember the name now. Neda.
Neda, yeah.
Yeah. So you can try maybe to go with two wild. I don't know if there is another range top of my head at the moment from epic down, but maybe you have another legendary. So
Yeah.
I think there is room to make two comp quite easily and accessible. I think it's much more difficult, for example, I don't know, tower is not that easy because if you don't have Yola, there's no other decrease attack really to bring in that reliably. Um, so that is something that's going to limit your score quite heavily. You can bring Vani. Vani does a good damage. You can bring you were talking about the Thunderbolt, so that is an option. Ice Blast. Do you think it's possible to get a second team running on Ice Blast?
Uh, for me, luckily, yeah, because I have Sheena and I have Zorax, so I'm planning to. I already built what's his name, Sadik.
Sadik.
So I just need to build my Bladin, and yeah, I will get to Wise Blast teams just because they're doing such a good damage. It's gonna be kind of like a no-brainer for everyone who has them to make two there, just for the simple fact that you have so much support on the Radiance. You have Corian, you have Catherine, you have what's the Meredith? Is it Meredith, the
Yeah,
common hero? You
yeah.
have another one, which is a rare. I forgot his name right now. Let me just quickly check it. But you have a lot of support from the Radiance that you can bring over to the ice element, and that will actually give you the edge that you need to create two teams. Hell, maybe even three teams, with the regular Frost. You have Kaledo as well, which is not a
Yeah,
bad
Kalido.
rare
Yeah.
hero, yeah. So you have a lot of options for healing there while you're lacking them. Plus, you have tanks, you have Kamaru, you have Clovis, you have Garius. You have a few options on tanks as well.
Yeah, what's missing there probably is a block buff, someone to replace Voresh. That is difficult
Yeah.
to replace. But yeah, option for damage dealing, even like free to play, you can bring Sadik and Nord. Nord
Yeah.
does a good damage. Also place the crystal on someone else, so you get the
Hmm.
crystal on Sadik. Sadik does decent damage, not as much as Gertin, but 80% of Gertin, 70% of Gertin you can expect. So he is decent there. Uh, and then for the others, I think it's much more difficult. Like maybe for Radiant, if you have a good stack account like yours, you might find the options. But how do you replace Rose over there?
So instead of Rose, I'm just gonna look for a different decrease attack. Like Clovis could potentially be an option. The good thing is that once we're gonna move to the Otherworld event, we do not care about anything over 22 million. So the only thing that we will care about is the actual 22 million damage that we are getting on the boss, and just move to the next team. So that's the good part. Even if my survivability won't be as good, as long as I'll manage to pump a lot of damage. So probably what I'll do, I'll put the weaker damage dealers with Rose and the stronger damage dealers without Rose. So I just kind of like make up for the survivability and instead increase my damage output per second.
So you basically think that we're going to be able to get to 22 million without decreased attack on some comp, just pushing
If
raw damage and going in
if
even a
if they have a lot
3 minutes
of
run.
damage, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's
Especially
good.
with Ardret in the same team.
That's a good suggestion. And for the crows, well, poison I think is going to be the toughest one.
Yeah, I
Probably a
think I
lot.
think I'll only end up with one team on the poison and attempt to do maybe triple on something else if I have the chance to do it.
Yeah, sure. And necrosis as well is going to be tough, in my opinion. There's not much in that comp.
Yeah, it will be pretty hard to pull off a second team there as well. Actually, yeah, I don't
Yes.
have Pasitia, for example.
Yeah,
You know, so she's
she's
just so
great.
so amazing. I will have to probably use Adri on my second team, and I'll have to look at some summoners. I have a couple of legendaries, but they don't really deal that good damage without the big boy queens from this elemental affinity. You
Yeah, the
know.
enabler.
Yeah, I have enablers, but not the actual damage there. So
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see the new Dungeons and Dragons champion. I'm hoping that that will go good with my lightning ice blast team. It does seem to be a lightning element hero. Just
Yeah. I
seeing
saw as well.
the images, you know. So I'm very hopeful for that, you know.
Yeah, I saw that one of the graphics where he's summoning from the book something. There is the
Yeah,
ring in the sky is the same that Shelter does. So I'm supposed that is going to be lightning as well, but you never know.
mm, that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah,
Yeah, if it's lightning, I mean, I don't know if you see my account, but look at this. I have let me show you. I have one for fire, one legendary for fire, two for poison, and then when it comes to lightning, look at this.
you have
Just
quite
like
a few. Yeah,
I have all of them basically. If you look at Dauntless, I miss only two. So I'm pretty happy because obviously you can make them work together, but it's so unbalanced. And so I'm
mm,
happy if I can push a couple of composition for lightning too. Well,
definitely. Yeah.
I guess we covered pretty much everything for this. So as we said, we talked about our composition and how basically we dealt with the chief challenge and how we're thinking to prepare for the otherworld explorations. Anything else you want to add for the otherworld exploration preparations part?
Just to make sure that people are doing in the first few days all the quests. You know, you have side quests, beat this dungeon, do these missions daily, and I feel like you will have to do your daily exploration mission. Is called, I think, if I remember it
Yeah.
correctly. So regardless of how many teams you're planning to push or no, definitely make sure you're doing your dailies, a dungeon, do the right things, because overall this will decide how good you are ranking on the seasonal tier list, you know, and that's where all the good rewards come from.
Right, brother. It's been nice to have you over for this collaboration. I've really enjoyed it.
A
Thank you for the
pleasure.
opportunity. And guys, I see you soon with another video about Dragonheir Silence God.